What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be discussing another article, and this one kind of suggests that the Chicago Bulls are trying to repair their relationship with Zach LaVine. Quite an interesting development, if I do say so myself. And with that being said, I want to discuss whether or not this is actually something that needs to happen for the Chicago Bulls, or is this something that maybe we will never see and it's just another rumor thrown into the fire in the hopes that something will stick. But before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and whether or not the relationship needs to be fixed with their current most paid player and arguably their best player in Zach LaVine. And can that help, I guess, get things going in the right direction for the Chicago Bulls? Now, obviously, you guys are well aware from recent news, not even so recent anymore, that the relationship with the Chicago Bulls and Zach LaVine has completely broken down. Obviously, we've even had Zach LaVine's agent kind of stir things up a little bit in that regard. The Bulls have had their reports about the current situation with Zach LaVine thrown out in there as well. There is a lot of disagreements there, clearly, between Zach LaVine and the Chicago Bulls, and there is definitely a blame game going on between the two. But with that being said, can that relationship be restored? Well, first and foremost, I need to make something very clear. When I say that this relationship needs to be restored, or when this article actually says the relationship is trying to be restored, that doesn't mean we're going to be keeping Zach LaVine for all 5 years of his contract, or whatever, how many years he has. I think it's 3, actually. It doesn't mean we're going to keep him for all 3 years of his contract. It doesn't mean that we're going to try to build around him anymore or anything like that. What it basically means is that we try to repair the relationship to the point where he will be willing to play for the Chicago Bulls. And then by the time that he does get around to playing in that first game, game 1 of the NBA season, and so on and so forth, he can develop his game enough. He can show what he's got to an extent where teams will be interested in a trade for him. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's rebuilding the relationship to the point of great. You know, it's absolutely great. We're a tight-ish unit that nothing can break us apart or anything like that relationship. It's more of a professional relationship. Hey, look, you want something, we want something. The best way to kind of approach it is if we work together to achieve what we both want. Obviously, the Bulls want to move on from Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine wants to move on from the Chicago Bulls. They both want something. Sometimes to get what you want, you have to work together in order to achieve it. And ultimately, I think this is an absolute necessity for the Chicago Bulls, and I think it means more for the Bulls than it does for Zach LaVine, to be honest. And here's why I say that. So, this relationship for the Bulls means everything. Because at the end of the day, you want to be able to say to Zach LaVine, look, we need you to play as many games as it takes, develop, not even develop, just ball out. Go out there and show exactly what you're all about and get teams to start noticing you again as that great basketball player that you are. Because so far his reputation has taken one of the most massive hits I have seen over the course of a year. It's as simple as that. So it's time to rebuild that for Zach LaVine. And Zach LaVine needs to be on board with doing that. This is what it means for the Chicago Bulls. You get a good player in return, someone that can ball out for you, win you some games if need be, but ultimately can get you a better trade package if he plays well enough, and if he shows what he's all about, if he can stay healthy as well. These are all very important things for the Chicago Bulls. But for Zach LaVine, granted, it will still be important for him, but the guy's still going to get paid regardless. He could sit for the next 3 years and still get paid his money. He could get traded from the Chicago Bulls to mediocrity land, and you know, that someone's going to be paying him his money. He's going to get paid regardless. So at the end of the day, for Zach LaVine, does it mean much to repair that relationship? I think it still means something to him, but not as much as it means for the Chicago Bulls. And that's where I think it's absolutely essential that the Chicago Bulls can try to rebuild that relationship to at least a professional level. Now, another question that we can ask is, does it need to be rebuilt beyond that? And ultimately, I don't think so. Let's be honest, Zach LaVine will always have a place of Chicago in his heart. I fully believe that. Yes, he might not be acting the way that we want him to act. Yes, a lot of people are very upset with him at the moment. A lot of people are very upset with the Bulls at the moment. You know, it's as simple as that. There are a lot of things that have gone on that has made fans very upset with Zach LaVine, but Zach LaVine has spent some incredible years with the Chicago Bulls. Incredible, at least in his own game. And he gave us a lot of highlight plays that we probably didn't have during that time where we were absolutely so bad. It was beyond recognizable from the teams that we've seen prior to that. You know, he was kind of that shining light in a very, very dark moment for the Chicago Bulls. So there's always a place, at least in my heart, for Zach LaVine, and I think there's always a place for Chicago in Zach LaVine's heart. So, of course, I don't think it's going to be, I guess, a relationship that's going to be filled with hatred, at least from the fans to Zach LaVine and vice versa. But I don't think we need to make it the greatest working relationship we've ever seen. There have been many, many, many players out there that just have a professional relationship with their team. It's as simple as that. Play games for your team, try your best, and we'll see if we could get something done, maybe get you traded, whatever the case may be. It happens all around the league. So I don't necessarily need this to be the best relationship. I want Zach LaVine to come into this team, A, ready to play, B, willing to obviously share the locker room with his teammates and not bring a negative energy to the locker room. That's very important. If you bring a negative energy to the locker room, especially to a young locker room, that can stick with them for a very long time. We desperately don't need that. Come in, good mindset, good attitude, ready to play, and obviously with the ambition and with the full understanding that he could very well get his trade if all those things get accomplished, and he does play at a high level. So it is essential that relationship gets repaired, not essential that it has to get repaired to the absolute greatest relationship you'll ever see between obviously a player and the management team. It just has to be professional. It has to be they can tolerate each other. It has to be that, you know, if something happens, if the front office wants to talk to Zach LaVine about something, that situation can happen and not have backlash from it. The last thing we want to see is what Jimmy Butler did with the Timberwolves and force his way out from that side of things, where he basically walked in, beat the best team that they had with third stringers, called all of them trash, swore at all of them, and basically forced his way out of Minnesota. That's the last thing the Bulls need. That could work for Zach LaVine, to be honest. He could go in, beat the best team with third stringers, and say, I hate this team, I'm out. And maybe a team will pull the trigger on him then, because that will be officially Zach LaVine doesn't want to be here. But again, I think for the Bulls, it is very important to repair that relationship. Not only for the public side of things, or I guess the publicity side of things, the media side of things, but also for their own season and for their own desires and their own goals. It's important to get that relationship in working order. Do you guys agree? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Drop a like and a follow, and or subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.